I want you all to think of a number. 99.9%. That's the percentage of African American voters who have not yet had a chance to vote in America. One more number. 99.8. That's the percent of Latino voters who haven't had a chance to vote. So when you hear all these pundits and experts, cable TV talkers talk about the race, tell them, it ain't over, man. We're just getting started. Our votes count too. We're not going to let anyone take this election away from you. Look, I've said many times, you can't be the Democratic nominee and you can't win a general election as Democrat unless you have overwhelming support from black and brown voters. It's just really simple. No, it's a natural fact. It's true. It's absolutely true. And folks, you know, all those Democrats who won against incumbents, from Jimmy Carter to a guy named Clinton to a guy named Obama, my good friend, guess what? They had overwhelming African-American support. Without it, nobody's ever won. No, really. And you all know you own my heart. Today, there's an incredible disparity. It's sinful. It's sinful. It's an indictment of the entire system. Today, think of all the people who can't look at their kids and say, we're going to be able to do it. Because the deck is stacked the way it is today. I mean, it really genuinely is. We have we have over 50% of all the people who are working class or middle class think their children will never achieve the same standing they had. What a god-awful you know, it just makes me mad. Look, folks. You live in a black neighborhood, you have the same exact house a guy lives across the highway on a white neighborhood. Same exact house, same condition. Yours is valued at less. You pay more for insurance. How do you get a chance to accumulate wealth? Well, I'll tell you what, that's not how you're going to fulfill the dreams. I really mean it. We're going to invest in families instead. I really mean it. I've done it. There's no limit to what we can get done in the next 4 years. But first, we have to beat Donald Trump. I believe her. I said it when those folks came out of those fields carrying those torches. I never thought I'd see it. When those folks came out of those fields in Charlottesville. Close your eyes and remember what you saw on television. Coming out of those fields, their veins bulging, screeching hate, carrying Nazi banners, accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan. They heard chanting the same anti-Semitic bile that was chanted in the streets of Germany in the 30s. Literally, the exact same. Exact same. That's the day Jill and I knew, and quite frankly, my grandchildren knew. We had no choice but to run. Because this president is breathing hate into these groups. I thought when I was waiting in Wilmington, Delaware, for a black man to come 28 miles from Philadelphia to pick me up on a train to take me 127 miles to Washington, D.C., we'd finally turned a corner. But what I learned is, and I'd been deeply involved all my life, but I learned hate doesn't ever go away, it just hides. It just hides. He has 35 states suppressing the vote, primarily to keep black folks and brown folks from voting, but keep anybody from voting. Enough is enough is enough. It has to stop. Look, folks, I spent my whole life fighting for civil rights, voting rights, social justice, economic justice, and that's what I'll do when I'm your president. This day, 30 years ago, Nelson Mandela walked out of prison and entered into discussions about apartheid. I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador. Arrested.
Wrong.
Lord, don't move my mountain. Give me the ability to climb. I can't do it alone. I need your help to climb that mountain. And together we're going to beat Donald Trump so we can chip in and support Those who listen to this, chip in and support our campaign. Text Joe I got to get this right. Joe to 30330.
Later, in the void.
So stand up against the poison of white supremacy, as I did my inaugural address, to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy. And I'm not saying this because I'm at a black HBCU. I say it wherever I go. In 2009, while waiting for Barack, I was both living history at the same time I was reliving it. A vivid demonstration when it comes to race in America. Hope doesn't travel alone. It's shadowed by fear, by violence, and by hate. But after the election and the re-election of the first black American president, I had hope that the fear of violence and hate was significantly losing ground. The fields literally with torches, carrying Nazi banners from the woods and the fields, chanting the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s, something I never thought I would ever see in America. Accompanied by Klansmen and white supremacists, emerging from dark rooms and remote fields and the anonymity of the internet, confronting decent Americans of all backgrounds, standing in their way into the bright light of day. And a young woman, objecting to the presence, was killed. And what did you hear? That famous quote when asked about what happened. The famous quote. There are very fine people on both sides. That's when I knew, and I'm not joking, that's when I knew I had to stay engaged to get back into public life. To stand up for truth over lies, lies told for power and profit. To confront the ongoing assault to subvert our elections, suppress our right to vote. To stand with leaders of your generation who give voice to the people, demanding action on gun violence, only to be expelled from state legislative bodies. To stand against books being banned and black history being erased. I'm serious, think about it. Again, let's be clear. There are those who don't see you and don't want this future. There are those who demonize and pit people against one another. And there are those who do anything and everything, no matter how desperate or immoral, to hold on to power. That's never going to be an easy battle. But I know this. The oldest, most sinister forces may believe they'll determine America's future, but they are wrong. We will determine America's future. You will determine America's future. And that's not hyperbole. You face that inflection point today. And I know you'll meet the moment. I just think about the many ways you already have. With your voices and votes, I was able to fulfill my commitment to put the first black woman on the Supreme Court of the United States of America. And by the way, she's brighter than the rest. She is one bright woman. There's more to do on police reform and public safety. During the State of the Union, I asked the rest of the country to imagine having to talk to their children, their families, like your families had to talk to you. It's about your security. It's about your dignity. It's demeaning and degrading and deadly when you just have to stand there and say, when you're stumped, turn the interior light on. Put both hands on the wheel. Don't reach for your license. What in the hell is going on in there? No. Think about it.